from Christ Tower to Michael's Church Tower on Glastonbury Tor is 145.9 nautical miles. Now these are all distances as the crow flies. Greek dictionary 1459 is to leave behind in some place, that is, let, remain, over, leave. And of course, both towers were left over after churches were destroyed. In miles, it is 168th, and of course that alludes to the 168th day of the year, which is June the 17th, 2 BC, when Jesus was born. Hebrew 168 from 166, a tent, tabernacle, tent, time or past and future as well. Eternal, forever, everlasting world began. In kilometres, it's 270. In Greek is reap down, same, together. Of course, both towers, they're the same together. 270, a primitive root, to seize, be affrighted, catch, lay, take, or take possession. So the altar next to the Christ Tower has been taken over, as was St. Michael's Tower Church on the Tor, and both faced massive persecution. Churches throughout the world do not have an altar on top of the towers, nor are churches shaped like an altar for sacrifice with 4 horns. So when we see one with a pyramid on the top, then these are for a reason. Churches universally have a name like St. Mary's or St. Benedict or St. John the Baptist or whatever, not just one word, Christ. The next slide, horizontal at the base of the 4 horns, are gargoyles. These demonic effigies are all part of the demonization of the Christian world by the Zionist and Talmud influence, all coming out of Egypt. Each year, Europe and North America are tilted at 23.4 degrees towards the sun, at a distance of 94 plus million miles on July the 4th each year. The distance from the sun reduces the heat and light to moderate living levels. Australia and South America, being tilted away from the sun, experiences winter. Europe and North America on January the 4th each year at 92 million miles is tilted away from the sun. Being closer, if it were not tilted away, it would be a dust bowl and no life would survive. But now, with the North Pole being in the south of England near Margate, it means the tilt is no longer, and this is a problem. As for Australia and South America, on the bottom of the Earth, and as the sun is also above the Earth equator, experiences summer, and Europe and North America experience cold winters. But now the North Pole is in England near Margate, and as such will heat up, and all life will be in extreme danger by January 2014. The new North Pole is 4178 kilometres shift from the former North Pole, southward. This is caused by a large planet near Antarctica. Its massive weight and North and South Poles have locked onto the South Pole, pulling our South Pole towards its North Pole, shifting the Earth axis. The new South Pole is between 3 massive land masses: South America, South Africa and Antarctica. This planet is part of the return solar system's 3,600-year cycle. In addition, there is a second sun, and this has been reported across Europe and the USA for months. There are several things that the people of the Earth must do to survive extinction, and going underground is not an option. I remind you the 2 CIA tunnels that were pressurized to 19.7 atmospheres. An atmosphere is 14.5 pounds per square inch. The doors blew out and everything in them blew apart, and as everything is porous, a rock became pressurized. Then as the pressure dropped, when the doors blew out, everything was ground to dust. Yesterday we drove to Margate and the chemtrails covered the sky. We waited for the winds off the North Sea to clear for a photo. The time of our observation was after 8 p.m. The sun was higher in the sky than here in Folkestone. At the same time, the sun is nearing the horizon. This is because we are south of the axis of the Earth by 25 miles or so in Margate, in on the axis point. The bottom date there is saying accessed today, June 8th, 2002. That's because Yar has his computer set for 2002 to overcome an anomaly in his computer that starts going crazy. So he bypasses it by setting the year 11 years behind what it really is. And you can see the date of creation. We took several shots after driving the car towards the sun, the GPS set to follow our track or direction, and then we were able to determine precisely where the sun is in relation to the United Kingdom. Now, this shot out the window is from June the 5th, Folkestone. So Folkestone is 25 miles south of the new axis at Margate. Actually, Margate is near it. It's in an area called Herne Bay. Note the angle of the sun moving from west to east. This window is facing north, and the sun is moving left to right, so it's moving west to east. Now back at, this is in Margate before we drove back to Herne Bay. Note the street lamp shows the angle compared to Folkestone, setting at the same time 25 miles south. So this was about 50 minutes before the official sunset. It might have been a bit longer than that. The bit more than 50 minutes. That time there, 8:15, was around about the time that we left. So I think this is actually taken before. But it very high in the skies. You know, we're looking pretty much directly overhead, and we first noticed that driving, it was the sun's rays pouring through the clouds because it's so chemtrailed, and this is why they're doing it. They are covering up where the sun is at all times. The sun is moving west to east and is not descending toward the horizon and continues eastward as we are sitting on the new pole axis. The sun is skimming the horizon above massive chemtrail cover. Here it is again. At the time back in Folkestone, what it looks like as it is setting. Still, this is before Folkestone sets around 9:02. I think 9:05 was the official time for yesterday. Here we are during the day back at Folkestone. Note the angle of the sun almost directly overhead. This is looking due south. Angle of the sun on the street lamp taken south from the hotel. The sun moving to the west, so it's coming around. It's like an elliptic. Of course, June the 9th is the beginning of lunation numbered 1119. Brings us to the Revelation, chapter 11, verse 19. And the temple of God was opened in heaven, and there was seen in his temple the ark of his testament. And there were lightnings and voices and thunderings, and an earthquake and great hail. And for the last shot in this PowerPoint, going back to May the 31st, no shadows as we're climbing up to St Michael's Tower on the Glastonbury tour. No shadows anywhere. So, not looking good. Not looking good at
Another point
all.
to mention is the distance from where I was born to where the access point is on the tip
Yes.
of where we went near
Herne Bay.
Herne Bay
Mm.
is 9131.06 nautical miles, the width of the pyramid in pyramid inches.
Right. Yes, that's that number 9131.06.
And from there
Yes,
to the centre of Glastonbury,
right. The no, it was Stonehenge. Centre of the Stonehenge was 212.7.
212.7 kilometres.
Kilometres. Okay, so you've got the first First
First Chronicle.
Yeah. First Chronicles 5:13, and the base of the pyramid in inches. So it is total perfection. It's just about a wrap. So that's it. Not a happy at all. And there's only one thing that's going to save anybody, isn't it?
Yep, Melanie.
That's it. All good for our saints. For anybody else, not looking good at all.
But we are known here, aren't we?
Yes, we arrive.
People bowing at me.
Yes. We arrived back at the hotel, and there's a group outside, and there's a woman talking, and they were watching us come up the path. The younger one sitting down didn't take her eyes from us, and then the older one said something like, "Good afternoon." She said, "Your Majesty and Your Grace," and bowed her head. Anyway, all good for the saints.